You know that feeling, right? When an app just knows what show you want, or your spam filter actually works for once.
Yeah, or maybe a chatbot solves your problem without making you want to tear your hair out.
Exactly. That's AI, artificial intelligence. It's kind of woven into everything now, our daily lives, our work. It's not just, sci-fi dreams anymore. It's properly here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's moved so fast from just being a concept
yeah.
to, well, stuff we use every day, sometimes without even realizing it's AI behind the scenes.
Right. And that's why we're doing this deep dive today. We want to get into the real application, the real impacts of AI.
Mm.
We're putting the far future stuff aside for a bit and looking at what's actually happening right now in companies, in our homes, and how it's starting to change things for workers.
Yeah, and to get a grip on that, we've gathered insights from, well, quite a few places. We've got university articles giving that academic angle, some solid data from Pew Research and McKinsey reports, plus a discussion forum like real users talking about AI tools,
Hmm.
and then some consultant analysis too, so a good mix.
Our goal here is really to cut through all the noise,
Yeah.
pull out the important bits for you from all this material.
Find the signal.
Exactly. We want to understand where AI is really making a difference, what benefits companies are actually getting, how people feel about the job situations, society.
And the challenges too, because it's not all smooth sailing.
Definitely not. So think of this as your shortcut to getting genuinely up to speed on where AI stands today.
Sounds good.
Oh.
So maybe let's start with the basics, like what is AI at its core based on these sources and where do we already bump into it?
Perfect place to start. So when we talk AI, what's under the hood? What's it built on?
Well, the sources highlight a few key things. It's powered by advanced machine learning algorithms. That's the bit where systems learn from data without needing explicit instructions for every single thing.
Okay, so learning from patterns.
Exactly. And it needs loads of data to learn from. Plus, it uses what they call computational thinking, basically, problem-solving logic, but for computers.
Got it. Learning patterns from data to make decisions.
Pretty much. And it shows up in all sorts of ways, from really simple tools right up to incredibly complex systems.
And we really do see it everywhere now. Like your voice assistant on your phone, that's AI.
Yep.
Or those online ads that seem to read your mind, sometimes a bit too well.
Uh-huh. AI using your data there.
And those customer service bots on websites, the ones that can sometimes actually answer your question. Also AI, they're just everyday things now.
And that takes us nicely from how we use it personally to how businesses are using it, because it's become a real powerhouse for them.
Right. So what are the actual sort of bottom line benefits companies are getting from AI?
The sources are pretty consistent here. Better decision-making, because AI can crunch data way faster and spot things humans might miss.
Oh.
That often leads to big cost reductions through automating tasks, better risk management by spotting potential problems early, just generally better efficiency and higher productivity.
So how does that translate into like specific uses? What are companies doing with it?
Yeah, the USD source breaks this down well. For talking to customers, it's things like personalized marketing, getting the right message to the right person.
Oh, okay.
It helps with predictive customer support, kind of guessing what help a customer might need, sometimes before they even ask.
Right.
And of course, the chat bots and virtual assistants you see everywhere handling queries 247.
So better experience for the customer, less repetitive work for the humans.
Exactly. And internally, AI is being used for things like finding employee skill gaps and then creating specific training,
Interesting.
automating tedious stuff like optimizing supply chains, processing documents, think invoices, even managing energy use in big buildings.
And what about understanding the market, customers?
Oh, it's huge for that.
Yeah.
Market research, analyzing trends, sentiment analysis, figuring out what people are saying on social media. It helps companies really dig into why people buy things.
Which then helps create those super tailored experiences like Netflix recommendations.
Precisely. AI is behind that dynamic content delivery suggesting your next movie or song. It personalizes online shopping with product suggestions. Amazon, for example, uses AI all over the place, from recommendations to warehouse logistics.
It sounds like it's even getting into like high-level strategy decisions.
It is. Things like predictive analytics, forecasting what might happen next, running simulations for scenario planning, helping leaders see the potential outcomes of different choices, and offering real-time support for strategic planning.
Okay, let's ground this. The sources had some great real-world examples, didn't they?
They did. Like Pfizer using AI to speed up finding new drugs. Barclays uses it for catching fraud almost instantly.
Wow.
The U.S. Postal Service uses AI to read addresses on mail. General Electric uses it for predictive maintenance, fixing factory machines before they break down.
I like the hotel one too.
Oh yeah, Hilton Hotels using robot concierges like Connie to help guests. Apple just announced their Apple Intelligence, focusing on integrating AI features with a big emphasis on privacy.
Right.
Duolingo uses AI to personalize language lessons. Discord uses it to moderate content. DHL uses it for optimizing shipping routes. It's really touching almost every industry.
That's quite a list. Now, this is where it gets interesting for a lot of people. There's this idea that AI is only for these massive companies, right? The Googles and Amazons. But the sources say that's not quite right.
Yet the Plan B source tackles this head-on. It calls it a myth that AI is just for the giants. Small and medium-sized businesses, SMEs, are definitely getting involved.
So you don't need like a whole department of AI PhDs or a bottomless budget.
Not necessarily, no. A lot of the tools now are actually designed for people who aren't tech wizards,
Yeah.
and the cost for some AI capabilities has dropped a lot.
So what are some practical ways SMEs can start using AI without breaking the bank?
Well, simple things first, like customer support chatbots to handle the basic common questions automatically,
Okay.
or using AI features that are already inside software they might already use. Like many CRM or email marketing platforms have AI built in for personalization or automation now.
Ah, so check the tools you've already got.
Exactly. Platforms like Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, lots of CRMs, they often bundle AI features. SMEs can also look at freemium tools, try things out. And there are these low-code, code platforms too.
What are those?
They basically let you build automated workflows using drag-and-drop visual interfaces. No real coding needed, but they can incorporate AI tasks. Makes it way more accessible.
That does sound much easier. What should smaller businesses keep in mind if they want to dip their toes in?
The advice is generally, start small, have a really clear idea of the specific problem you want AI to solve.
Right.
Make sure your data is ready, that it's actually usable and accessible. And, crucially, manage the change within the team. Get people comfortable with it.
Okay, good points. So moving from the office to our homes, AI isn't just changing how we work, it's changing how we live too.
Yeah, definitely. Through AI teaming up with IoT, the Internet of Things, all those smart home devices connecting and talking to each other.
How does AI make those smarter?
Well, AI helps them learn your habits, your preferences, so the automation gets more sophisticated. Think smart lights that learn when you usually come home, or smart thermostats that adjust the temperature for comfort and save energy based on patterns.
Right.
Security cameras with smarter detection. Safety systems that don't just beep but tell you what the problem is, like a water leak.
And things like smart locks, appliances.
Yep. Smart locks you can control remotely or give temporary access. Smart fridges that maybe suggest recipes based on what's inside, or ovens you control with your voice. Even smart gardening systems.
Smart gardening.
Yeah, monitoring soil moisture, checking the weather forecast, and watering automatically just the right amount.
Huh. So what are the main plus points for people with these smart homes?
It boils down to comfort, convenience, saving time on chores, definitely energy and water savings, better safety and security, and maybe even boosting your home's value.
The sources mentioned examples like LG ThinQ appliances, Philips Hue lights.
Visual Keys, smart locks, Gardena irrigation systems, yeah. It's a market that's really growing.
Okay. So let's shift gears a bit. This is the big one for many people, the human side. How is all this AI impacting jobs, the skills we need, and, well, how do people actually feel about it all?
Yeah, this is where you hear a lot of discussion and, frankly, a lot of worry. That Pew Research survey from 2017, even though it's a few years old now, gave some really interesting insights into how people were feeling back then.
What did it find? How were Americans viewing automation?
Generally, people expressed more worry than excitement about some specific scenarios, especially the idea of robots and computers taking over lots of human jobs, and algorithms making hiring decisions.
What kind of worries did they have?
A big one was that economic inequality would get worse. Many doubted that the economy would create enough new, good-paying jobs to replace the ones lost. There was also this sort of existential concern about people finding purpose if work disappeared.
Right.
And specific things worried them too, like robot caregivers making older adults more isolated, or self-driving trucks putting drivers out of work.
And did people want to use these technologies themselves?
Many were hesitant, according to the survey, often citing a lack of trust, like they didn't trust an algorithm for important decisions, or they felt human connection and judgment were just irreplaceable, especially for things like caregiving.
Interesting.
And there was strong support for policies that would keep humans in the loop or limit what automation could do.
Okay, so that was the public mood a few years back.
Yeah.
What does the more recent research, like from McKinsey, say about the actual potential impact on jobs?
Well, McKinsey's analysis suggests that while very few jobs might be completely automated away,
Okay.
a really significant chunk of the tasks within many jobs could be automated.
Yeah.
So it's more about jobs changing shape than just disappearing wholesale.
And the scale of that change, how many people might be affected?
The estimates are pretty staggering. Possibly hundreds of millions of people worldwide needing to shift roles by 2030.
Wow.
And a lot of those shifts might mean moving into totally different types of work, needing completely new skills. McKinsey even compared the potential scale to those huge historical shifts, like moving out of farming or manufacturing.
So what kind of skills are becoming more valuable then?
The mix is definitely changing. Sources point to a growing demand for social and emotional skills, collaboration, empathy, leadership. Also, higher-level cognitive skills like creativity, critical thinking, complex problem solving.
And less demand for.
Less time spent on predictable physical tasks or routine data processing. The stuff machines are getting good at.
And education levels, does that play a role?
It seems so. Projections suggest jobs needing higher education will likely grow, while those needing less might decline, at least in developed economies.
It's fascinating, though, that disconnect you mentioned from the Pew survey. Lots of people saw big societal impacts coming, but fewer thought their own job was at risk.
Yeah, it's a classic "it won't happen to me" thing, maybe. Although it's important to remember, even back in that 2017 survey, 6% of workers said they had already been impacted by automation, lost jobs, reduced hours, or pay.
So managing this huge workforce shift is, well, it's not going to be easy.
Not at all. It calls for big things, like major investment in retraining people, making it easier for workers to move between jobs and industries. But the sources also stress that new jobs are being created too. It's not just about loss.
Okay, we've talked opportunities, impacts, but let's not gloss over the challenges. AI isn't perfect. There are real hurdles and limitations right now.
Oh, definitely. A major one is bias. AI systems learn from data, right?
Right.
Well, if the data they learn from reflects existing societal biases, gender bias, racial bias, the AI can pick those up and even make them worse.
Like the facial recognition example.
Exactly. The USD source mentioned issues where systems are less accurate for certain demographic groups. It's often not intentional malice, but a result of biased training data leading to unfair outcomes.
And what about just the practical side of using these AI tools day to day, especially for complex stuff like analyzing data? That Reddit discussion had some real talk on that.
Yeah, that was quite insightful. Users were saying, look, these AI analytics tools are often pretty good for generating basic code snippets or doing simple, clearly defined tasks. They're good at the what.
But not the why.
Exactly. They struggle with deep analysis, understanding the business context, or explaining why something is happening. They can spot a correlation maybe, but not necessarily the cause or what it means for the business.
So human expertise is still critical.
Absolutely. And users hammered home the point about data quality. You need clean, well-structured data, and preparing that often takes a lot of manual work up front. Plus, you constantly need human oversight and validation, because the AI can sometimes just get things wrong without warning.
Okay. Beyond data and tool limits, privacy and security must be huge concerns too.
Massive. Especially with AI and IoT and smart homes, you're collecting enormous amounts of personal data. Protecting that data from breaches, from misuse, that's a huge ongoing challenge.
And for the smaller businesses we talked about, any specific pitfalls for them?
Yeah, the Plan B source mentioned a few, like relying too much on the automation and losing that human judgment,
Right.
or jumping in without a clear goal, just using AI because it seems cool, not because it solves a real problem.
Yeah.
And picking a tool that can't grow with a business, those are real risks.
Okay. So lots of challenges. But despite all that, the sources also paint a picture of big opportunities, right? Especially career-wise.
That's right. Coming back to the growth aspect, yeah. There's projected to be significant expansion in fields like data analytics, technology generally, areas where AI skills are really sought after.
What kind of job titles are popping up?
The USD source listed quite a few. Things
Yeah.
like AI engineer, data scientist, machine learning engineer, AI product manager, business intelligence analyst.
Specialists too.
Yeah, natural language processing specialist, robotics engineer, AI research scientist, even newer roles like ethical AI specialist, focusing on fairness, and AI trainer, the people who prepare the data for AI systems.
So work is definitely changing, but there are clear new roles and paths opening up for people with the right skills in this whole AI space.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's a really dynamic job market, directly linked to how fast AI is growing and being used.
Okay. Wow. We've covered a lot of ground. We've looked at how AI is really deeply embedded in our world now.
Mhm.
We've seen how it's bringing real benefits to businesses, making our homes smarter, more automated, but also raising some pretty fundamental questions about jobs, skills, and just our relationship with these intelligent machines.
Yeah, the sources definitely show this landscape of incredibly fast change, full of amazing potential for sure, but also some really significant challenges we need to navigate carefully.
So, given everything we've discussed, this rapid pace, the mix of excitement and worry, the opportunities for businesses big and small, the practical limits, the human impact, here's something to chew on. What do you think is the single biggest question, or maybe the most important challenge, that we need to tackle personally or as a society as AI keeps evolving and becomes even more a part of our lives?